Welcome, guys, to a very special video where I'm going to break down exactly how I went from exhausted and out of shape to shredded, losing 43 pounds in just 90 days without doing any cardio or sacrificing my life. Now, in this video, there's going to be a lot of information, so I encourage you to take some notes, take a pen and paper, take some notes, because this could truly change your life for the better. Now, how did I go from this fat, unmotivated, low energy guy to this sick, shredded physique that's always ready for more and always ready to work? Now, at one point, pretty recently, my entire life revolved around eating, sleeping, and training. I wanted to look the best. I wanted to have the biggest muscles. I wanted to just be huge, right? And so I thought that the way to get that was by eating 6 to 7 times a day, by training 6 to 7 times a week. And so I started doing that. And the problem with that was that it was really time consuming. And not only that, but I had no rest for my digestive system and no rest for my body. So it was really, really draining. And what happened was, in order for me to recover from all that damage that I was doing to my body, was by taking naps. So I started taking 2 hour naps after school. I would come back home from school, take a 2 hour nap, wake up, go to the gym, come back home, eat, then go to bed. So as you can imagine, I had no time for nothing else. So I didn't have time to study. So my grades slipped, my mental health tanked, and even my physical health started to break down because nothing of what I was doing was healthy. Yes, I was going to the gym, but I was going too much. I was eating too much food. So it wasn't healthy. And another thing was that I wanted to be successful, but right, I wanted to be somebody of value. I wanted to build something important, but I didn't have the time nor energy because of all the dumb things that I was doing, the eating a lot of food, the training so much. And so I knew I had to change that because the path that I was going through was leading to nothing, was leading to failure. And so after years of trial and error, I finally discovered the highest leverage tasks that not only transformed my physique, but they also allowed me to excel in every other area of my life. Now, if you're saying, oh, this is genetics, right? I've helped my clients with the same method that I'm going to break down in this video. And this client, 50 years old, and he lost 63 pounds in just 4 months. You don't have any excuses, okay? So, who this is for? If you're sick of the body you see every day in the mirror and you know you're capable of more, this is for you. If you're wishing you could take your shirt off in public and show the world a rock hard six pack, this is for you. If you hate the feeling of being successful in your career, but you're embarrassed to take your shirt off at the beach or even in front of the mirror, this is for you. If you've tried to get in better shape before, but you gave up because it was too time consuming and you ended up quitting, this is for you. If you need a proven routine that gets you leaner and stronger without any cardio or 2 hour gym sessions, this is for you. And if you're ready for a sustainable solution that fuels your career, gives you lasting energy, and actually gets you a shredded physique that turns heads everywhere you go, this is for you. However, if you're looking for a shortcut or a magic trick to get shredded, this isn't for you. You actually need to put in the work. If you plan to stay disciplined during the week, but then you completely fall off and let loose on the weekends, this isn't for you. If you think you can transform your body without upgrading your mindset, discipline, and willpower, this isn't for you. If you think you can become the ultimate version of yourself without taking care of your health and fitness, this isn't for you. And if you want results but you refuse to build the habits that actually last, this isn't for you because you won't be able to keep the results. You need to keep up with the habits that actually got you the results. And if you're only willing to put in half the effort, but you still expect a superhero physique and unstoppable energy, this isn't for you. Now, here's the truth. Everyone thinks you need to work out 2 hours a day, 7 days a week, do endless amounts of cardio to get your dream physique. That's why people say, oh, I don't have time, I don't have time. But that's not actually the case. All you need to do is find nutrient-dense whole foods that you can enjoy year-round without forcing down chicken and rice 7 times a week. You need to find time-efficient workouts that maximize for muscle growth for the limited time you have. Now, this is something really important because I keep seeing people that have started the gym way before me, but they get no results. That's simply because they don't have efficient workouts that maximize for muscle growth, and they don't pair with good nutrition. So they don't have results, and that's something that really pains me, and I don't want that to happen to you guys because you guys are putting all this effort, so might as well get results for the efforts that you're putting in. And so again, the gym doesn't have to be your life, but it can be a part of it, right? It can enhance all the other aspects of your life. But don't worry, I'm not going to let that happen to you. You don't need to live like a bodybuilder. You don't need to train 7 days a week. You don't need to waste your time on the treadmill. And you don't need to spend your entire life in the gym just to get in the best shape of your life. You just need to optimize for some key factors around your lifestyle. And if you want that person to be you, I'll show you exactly how to get a hard-earned six-pack without doing endless amounts of cardio, how I conquered my mindset and got the physique of my dreams, how to structure your life so that you can build lean muscle and shred body fat while excelling in all the other areas of your life, and how to be extremely effective with the valuable time you have and actually see results. In case you don't know me, here's a brief backstory about how I got here. So I started from the ground zero as a skinny 140-pound kid. Now I wasn't that skinny that you see that skinny kid that you see all the muscles that he's really lean. I was more of a skinny fat, and I had a waist that was wider than my shoulders, and I hated that. People would call me or would say that I had a guitar physique, so that made me really insecure. And to top it all off, my neighbor, one of my best friends, had abs like since he was born. And so I've always had like that resentment or that jealousy. And I think that's what pushed me to actually start getting in better shape. And so the first thing that I did was trying running. And so I would wake up at 6 a.m., go run. And for a month I did it. And after a month, I saw no results. So naturally, when you don't see results, it's a lot easier to quit. So I quit, right? I hated running and I only did it to look a bit better, but it didn't work out. Then I started CrossFit. Now, the problem with CrossFit is, yes, you're lifting weights, but the way that you're doing it, it's not going to build muscle. You're going to build a tiny bit of muscle. But again, I didn't like it. And to top it all off, it was group classes. So you can't go on your own time. It just wasn't something that was going to get the results that I wanted. Then I started calisthenics. That's when I started seeing a bit more results. But I quickly understood that with calisthenics, it's a lot harder to progress because you just have to add more reps. And I didn't have the equipment at home. And so that's when I started going to the gym. That's when I started seeing more results, seeing like that my body was adapting. But I still wanted more. And so I started following bodybuilders and mainstream fitness advice. And what do they tell you when you want to build muscle? You have to bulk, you have to train 6 to 7 times a week. And so that's what I did. But I bulked up, I got fat, I was low on energy, and I was lacking confidence. I'm going to tell you guys a story, right? When I was like this, okay, the girls at my school would call me Wario. And for those of you who don't know, Wario is Mario's fat, evil cousin. So I was putting all that work, all that effort to be called Wario. And so, again, I was lacking confidence. I had no energy because I was drained from everything that I was doing. This is a picture of me sleeping in class because I was so tired, right? So not only did it affect my life after school, it affected my life in school as well. And this is another picture of me at Pizza at 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. on a Friday night, because every week me and my friend, we would go to Pizza because that's what we needed to do. That's what we needed to build muscle, right? We need to have more calories. But that's not what you need. That's bullshit. And so I sacrificed my health, my grades, and my life for mediocre gains and a physique that I hated. And I finally found the highest leverage task to transform my physique because I had to make a change, right? This was not building me into the person that I wanted to be. And so I finally got abs. I finally got shredded, having veins pretty much everywhere. And so the Apex method is my system I built through my own trial and error by in-depth research into training, nutrition, lifestyle, and mindset to figure out exactly the best way to build an incredible physique without making the gym your life. Now I've decided to break it all down for you for free. In the following steps, I'll outline the entire process, A to Z, of what I did to accomplish these results so you too can use my Apex method to shred body fat and build lean muscle simultaneously without doing any cardio or sacrificing your life in the gym. Now, the Apex method is focused on one basic principle: minimal input, maximal input. So for the minimal input that you put, the minimal work that you put in, you get maximum results. And this is focused on 4 pillars. The first one is rewire the mind, then dial in the fuel source, optimize the training, and wake up on full battery. Now, let me show you the exact system I used to finally achieve the physique of my dreams without slaving my days at the gym and actually being able to level up my life. So the very first thing that I did was build my discipline. I understood that if I became a disciplined person, that would help me in all aspects of my life. I would have better grades, I would make more money, have a better physique. So I developed and adopted a responsibilities first approach. Now what this means is I do all my responsibilities first, and then if I have the time, I can do things that are not productive. So I would come home from school, study, work out, and then if I had the time, I would watch TV. If I had the time, I would go out with my friends. So like that, I'm making sure that every single day I'm doing my responsibilities and I'm moving forward. And if for whatever reason I don't have the time to do something, well, the thing that I'm not doing is something that wasn't productive anyway. I wrote down all my goals. I wanted to know, okay, what am I aiming towards, right? Where am I trying to go? And having that written down helps you know why you're doing it and also where you're going with this. I took cold shower every morning. So the thing with cold showers is if you're doing something as hard as a cold shower, waking up from your warm, toasty bed and getting straight into a cold shower, that uncomfort and that mindset of doing things despite not being comfortable, then you can apply it to all aspects of your life. You don't want to work because you're tired, you gotta work. You don't want to work out because you had a long day, you need to work. So all these things are going to apply and help with your discipline. I made a non-negotiables list every night. Every day I had to make sure that my non-negotiables list was checked. I had to drink my water, I had to eat clean food, I had to train when I needed to train. And so that way I knew that every single day I was showing up as the person I needed to be. I focused on an identity shift. This one's really important. I was thinking of the highest version of myself, the ultimate version of myself, and I was filtering my actions through him. What would the highest version of myself be doing? Would he be eating junk food? No. Would he be skipping his trainings? No. Would he not work on his business? No. But would he be reading 10 pages a day? Yes. Would he be eating as clean as possible? Yes. So all these things, I was filtering my actions through him, and I tried to close the gap from what I was doing to what he would be doing, and then closing it so that I could be aligned and actually become the highest version of myself. And I, again, prioritized my future and goals over comfort. I didn't care how I felt in the moment. I needed to get shit done. I leveled up my mindset. I was wasting a ton of time listening to music and scrolling on social media apps. I was telling myself, if the 4 to 5 hours that you spend every single day on social media, you spend it actually working on something, actually learning something, then you would go so far away. And so I knew I was falling short of my potential. So I started listening to podcasts, audiobooks, and YouTube just to try to become a better version of myself. I also surrounded myself with driven people who had similar goals, right? I surrounded myself with big gym goers, so I knew that I always had to go. I have my friend Josh, I have my friend Steph. Since they're all trying to reach their goal, it pushes me to either be in a competition or it just pushes me to try to be better, to try to not get left behind. This is my friend. I assisted into an interview of his where this guy is a top 3 LinkedIn personal brand developers or scalers, whatever. But just having these people that are focusing on their goals, it pushes you to want to do the same. It pushes you to reach their level or exceed their level. So I really found that important to surround myself with driven people who had similar goals. I optimized nutrition for performance. So the biggest thing that I knew was that whenever I ate junk food or processed food, I felt like shit afterwards. I was bloated, I was tired. So if I wanted to be the best version of myself in work, in school, and the gym, I had to eat real food. So I eliminated all processed food. I only ate single ingredient foods. And if it wasn't here 500 years ago, then I wouldn't eat it, right? So I also maximized for the functions of each food. I knew when to eat protein, when to eat fats, when to eat fiber, when to eat carbs, all that stuff. Just to maximize performance, just to know when to eat the carbs, to make sure that my performance is good, nutrition timing, all that stuff. Then I had carb cycling and intermittent fasting. So these techniques, they're a bit advanced. You don't need to do them, but give you that 10 to 15% extra edge on the people that don't do it, right? So I do it. You don't have to do it, but I'll explain the concept and you tell me if you like it. So basically, it's taking the carbs that you would usually eat on your rest days and you add them on your training days. So like that, you have more energy and more force in your workouts. So it's like if you were training on a bulk and then your rest days are like on a cut because you reduce that amount of carbs and you add it that way. So it's like if you're training on the bulk, but you're still cutting, you're still lean, like staying lean. So it was just amazing for me. And I was intermittent fasting. So those days on rest days, since I'm eating less food, I would just wait until 1 p.m. to eat my first meal. And then since my eating window or my eating frame is so low or so small, I wasn't hungry. I didn't want a snack because I had my first meal, had a snack, and then I had my third meal. And the snack wasn't a snack. It was mostly like Greek yogurt and all that, just some healthy stuff. And again, I was eating so clean that I stopped tracking macros and I still maintained the results, right? I was still getting bigger, still getting leaner, still improving at the gym. And since I was eating so clean on anything that was routine, so at my house, at work, at school, I was eating so clean that when something special arose, like a birthday cake or like a wedding or a date with my girlfriend, then I could eat out without any shame or guilt because I knew that I was putting in so much work that wouldn't even put a dent into my health or into my fitness. Then I developed effective workouts that would force muscle growth. I started training heavy 3 to 4 times a week, not more, because I want to rest. I want to have time for all the other things in my life. So I had 5 to 8 exercises. You want to keep your workout times low because the longer it is, well, it becomes less and less effective and you're just wasting time. So 5 to 8 exercises, 5 to 10 reps, and 2 to 3 times frequency per muscle. Right? I started focusing on stable exercises. I'll give you an example. If you're doing a shoulder press standing up, your brain has to think of like keeping your core tight, making sure that you don't fall, and so you limit the amount of force you can produce, and so you're getting less stimulus for that muscle. That's why you're weaker when you're doing standing up than when you're doing it sitting down. So again, I focused on stable exercises so I could produce as much force and get as much stimulus for growth. I prioritized progressive overload. I was tracking my all right, I still am tracking my workouts, tracking my sets, my reps, how many weight, and I would try to add weight or a rep every single week, every single session, using the same form. It's really important to keep the same form because if you change the tempo, you change the form, you change the execution, you don't know if you actually got stronger or the results are just from you changing the mechanics of that movement. So you want to keep the same form, you want to standardize so that if you keep the same form, exactly the same tempo, same everything, and in 2 weeks you added 2 reps, then you know you got stronger, you know you built muscle. Then I train close or to failure, not past failure, because past failure is bad because you're accumulating way too much fatigue and it's usually shit form. So you don't want to do that, right? You don't want to do drop sets. You don't want to do partials. Keep it to straight sets. And I went from training 12 to 14 hours a week to training 3 to 4 hours a week and getting more results in the gym and outside the gym, right? I had more time for all the other aspects of my life. I had better grades. I was working more and I was still getting phenomenal results in the gym and even better results than when I was training so much. I enhanced my recovery. I wanted to make sure every single day I woke up with 100% energy. So I would focus on 7 to 9 hours of sleep, a consistent sleep schedule so that I would wake up, I would know when to wake up and know when to go to bed. My body would know when to wake up and when to go to bed. I would take magnesium glycinate before bed. That relaxes your nervous system. Mouth taping as well relaxes. It also filters, like since you're breathing with your nose, you filter the quality of air, so you're less likely to get sick. All like plenty of benefits. Hot shower 1 hour before bed. So this is gonna like cool your internal body temperature so that you can fall asleep quicker. I limited screens 1 hour before bed because when you're scrolling, and usually 1 hour before bed, what you're doing is scrolling, and when you're scrolling, it's activating your brain, and also the blue light suppresses melatonin. So if I had to use my screens, it was number one, not social media, and number two, I was using blue light blocking glasses so that it wouldn't suppress my melatonin. I could actually sleep good. I started sleeping naked. So when you sleep naked, there's nothing obstructing your blood flow. You have better circulation, and so you sleep better overall. I started adjusting the frequency of when I wake up. So I was waking up like absolute shit before I started like bettering myself, started making sure that I add these components. So the first thing that I would do was snooze my alarm 2 3 times. Then I would scroll on TikTok or Instagram for 30 45 minutes. And so by the time I actually got up, I would have lost 1 hour and I would have fucked up the momentum for the whole day. So what I started doing was putting my phone on my desk so that I physically had to get up. And in the first 2 seconds of hearing that alarm, I got up and I've already won the hardest battle, which is actually getting out of bed. And then I make my bed right away, not only to make sure that I eliminate the possibility of me going back to bed, but also to set my mind into this state of action. You already started making your bed. Okay, it's time to work. It's time to do that. Da, 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 da. So I started doing all these things. I weighed myself to make sure that I wasn't eating too much, I wasn't eating too little, that I was following a downtrend while cutting. I started hydrating with water and mineral salt. So you don't drink for 12 hours because you're asleep, then you go to pee, so you wake up dehydrated, and dehydration is really bad for you. So you want to drink water and with some salt, because if you just drink water, it's all going to flush right through you. With salt, you add electrolytes and it's going to stay in your body and it's going to hydrate you. 10 minutes of sunlight to regulate circadian rhythm. That's really important because when you wake up and you get some sunlight, it's going to activate hormones that are going to boost your mood and that are going to boost your alertness. So cortisol, epinephrine, and that's what you need. It's also going to set a trigger alarm for 16 hours to release melatonin. So again, we come back to that consistent sleep cycle, your body knowing when to wake up, when to go to bed. And so that has helped me a lot. It has to be from direct sunlight. It can't be through a windshield or like through windows. And then plan my day hour by hour. So I knew when to do what I had to do. And so I achieved the perfect balance. I enjoyed training. I wasn't training too much. I was training 3 to 4 times a week. And since I'm not training that much, you have that like anticipation. You have that excitement. Oh, I get to train today, because like, you always have like either 1 day or 2 days off. And so it was really, really nice. I was seeing progress in my performance in and outside the gym. I got the best grades ever because had so much more time to study, so much more discipline to study. And so I got the grades that I had never gotten before. The first time I got 100%, I was like, what the fuck? Like for me, I thought it was like a lag or a bug because how do you get 100% in an exam? I had never gotten that before. And so that was really life changing for me. I started having more energy and drive for my life. I got my dream physique and my first flawless semester, all A's. And I could see this, I could see myself doing this for the rest of my life, right? This is the most important part. It has to be sustainable because you want to have it for the rest of your life so that you can keep progressing, keep being the best version of myself, right? I was training 3 to 4 times a week. I was eating clean. I wasn't doing any cardio and I lost 43 pounds. I got in the best shape of my life. So this shit is really easy, guys. Like, it doesn't take much. It just takes discipline to do what you need to do. Again, minimal input, maximal output, but you have to make sure that you do the minimal input. And so I figured out that less done right beats more done wrong. I used to spend hours in the gym 6 to 7 days a week, grinding through 2 3 hour workouts, draining all my energy for nothing than mediocre results. I wasn't happy with the man I was becoming. Outside the gym, I was a poor performer. I had bad grades, no energy, no balance, just burning myself out with obsessive training and overdoing nutrition. That's when I realized that more isn't better. Getting into the best shape of your life isn't about doing the most. It's about being efficient, sustainable, and using fitness as a tool to enhance your life and not consume it. I built a healthy relationship with food. I fell back in love with training, and I finally found freedom in a routine that gave me lasting results. Now I live in my dream body while thriving in the areas that truly matter: school, work, business, and relationships. Now that you understand exactly how this process works, I have an offer for you. If you're tired of being out of shape and feeling sluggish, if you're pushing off your health and ruining your confidence because of work or life plans, if you're aware you're capable of more, but you haven't figured out how to get there yet, and you're ready to finally get six pack abs, you're wanting to unlock unlimited energy and build a lifestyle that gets you shredded without giving up on everything you enjoy, and you want to fast track going from this unmotivated, low energy, low confidence, average physique to this shredded, driven, always ready to work, always high on energy, and you want to fast track this, I have a link in the description where you can book a one on one call where we can get you this transformation in a faster rate than I did and actually get you shredded and level up your physique. I hope you guys liked this video. There was a lot of information and it truly can change your life. And I'll see you next time.